Welcome back. You are watching News 9. This is Morning Brief at 9. We are now joined by Mr. Rahul Bharti, Senior Executive Officer, Corporate Affairs at Maruti Suzuki. Mr. Bharti, good morning. Thank you so much for speaking to News 9. First up, I want to congratulate you for the healthy set of numbers released for Q3 as well as the strong growth momentum in the export market. Now, what I picked up is that the E-Vitara and its export market now being Europe is great news for the company. Congratulations on that. I want to understand from you two sides of this story. First up, how does this Europe strategy evolve in the context of the India-EU free trade agreement? And on the other side of the spectrum, the fact that Europe is gradually relaxing its own sort of ambitions of being completely electric in mobility by 2035.
So even while the conversations were around imports, whether India should facilitate imports or not of EVs, Maruti Suzuki was concentrating on exports. And we've made India Suzuki's global hub for manufacturing of EVs, and exports to Europe is one of our of the E-Vitara is one of our big initiative for expanding our exports. So we have always been positive about exports and about opening up and liberalization, and it helps. If we talk about the domestic market, it helps us get more competitive. And if we talk about exports, it helps us more exports. So the EU FTA should be positive in all terms. The government has also been quite balanced and sensitive. They have selected segments carefully. They have provided a gradient so that local manufacturing, even by the European players, goes up. And so we believe the EU FTA should be positive, even though we don't have the full details of the agreement.
All right. Of course,
as you said, it's under ratification.
Those details, of course, are awaited, Mr. Bharti. But, the second part of the question I asked you, what about EU relaxing its 2035 targets of 100% electric mobility? Is that likely to change the course of Maruti Suzuki's export strategy to Europe, especially when it comes to electric vehicles?
There would be still many EVs that we can still export to Europe, so it would not affect us. And but this kind of a pullback from environmental goals towards or shift from IC engine to EVs, we have seen across the world, whether it's Europe or US, major destinations like this. Governments are deciding in favor of economics, and they are going a bit slow on environmental goals.
Okay, and the big question, sir, it's been about a year since we saw the E-Vitara at the Auto Expo in India, but it is yet to hit Indian roads. If I can get a timeline from you, when is the E-Vitara finally going to hit Indian roads?
Very soon now.
Yeah,
Very
but
soon now.
give us a timeline, sir. Very soon is great, but can you give us a timeline, a specific timeline on when it's going to hit Indian roads?
So, okay. So we are not talking about months, we are talking about weeks.
Okay, we are talking about weeks. We are not talking about months. All right, that is the big news coming in, that the E-Vitara will hit Indian roads in weeks. All right, sir. Let's shift really to the overall portfolio of cars that Maruti Suzuki has. I want to understand from you, in the long term, how do you intend to balance your already existing wide range of ICE engines and hybrids, and now the induction of EVs? How does Maruti Suzuki plan to balance its portfolio when it comes to all these various technologies?
At Maruti Suzuki, we will use all tools to attack carbon emissions and attack oil import or oil consumption in the cars that we use. First, let me mention intrinsically, Maruti Suzuki vehicles are far cleaner and far more efficient than their peers in the segment. Pick up any car of Maruti Suzuki, chances are it would be at least 15 to 20% more efficient than its comparable peers. Secondly, we will use all technologies also. EVs will be our strong push to reduce the cost of EVs. We have tried to combine the global manufacturing and concentrate it in one location in India, in Gujarat, combine global scales
Right.
and all the global scale accruing in one manufacturing location in India, in Gujarat.
Right.
In addition to that, we have the E for Me campaign, where we want to give customers the confidence that they need not worry about service issues after the purchase of the
The
car.
charging
And this was
infrastructure.
one feedback in our market survey that we had received. This is where the Indian customer was slightly underserviced, and that is where we thought the opportunity is, not just in the sale of a great product, but in aftermarket support also, whether it is charging infrastructure or service on wheels or emergency on-road assistance just a call away, etc. So we will put a lot of effort to increase EV adoption in the country. Having said that, we are aware that global penetration levels are not much. US EV penetration is just about 8%. Europe is at about 14%. And we are ambitious about India. We'll do our maximum bet, but it still leaves a large chunk, 50, 60, 70, 80% of the car market unaddressed.
Right.
So we have to do something. We cannot leave that large chunk unaddressed. So we'll use other technologies like biofuels, like hybrids, or like using within biofuels, the compressed biogas, ethanol, etc., to reduce carbon,
All
reduce
right.
oil import, and reduce improve energy efficiency.
Sure. I want to pivot away, Mr. Bharti, now and really talk about the strategies that Maruti is deploying to decouple or rather diversify from China, because we've seen in the past the kind of curbs that China had made, first on semiconductors, then last year on rare earth minerals, now also on silver. So how is Maruti really gearing up to deal with potential curbs that emanate from China?
That's a very interesting question. And I must say that, for example, rare earth, recently uh, we faced an issue of export controls, and it almost appeared like China has a hand on our windpipe and it can choke us any moment.
Exactly.
But fortunately, the government of India was very agile. They quickly launched a scheme to encourage rare earth magnet manufacturing in India, and they are meeting global investors to set up shop in India, put their manufacturing facilities in India. There are indications that there is some uh, heavy rare earth mining and availability in India, which is being worked upon further. So uh, efforts like this have to continue. But the fact of the matter is that India as a whole, not just Maruti Suzuki, has still heavy dependence on China, particularly as far EVs is concerned. And therefore, one of the ways is to diversify our portfolio when it comes to clean powertrains.
Right.
Biofuels are a very strong, unique strength of India that should be leveraged. And compressed biogas, for example, is carbon negative.
Right.
So, and India has the agricultural waste, the bio waste available, the technology exists. If it can be harnessed well, it promises to be a great fuel for the future. So we have to work on all technologies. We have to de-risk ourselves, and we have to particularly strengthen areas where India has a natural advantage of the
All
ground.
right, sir. And of course, we are just 2 days away from budget 2026. Can't let you go without getting from you your budget wish list for the industry, for Maruti Suzuki. What are your expectations from budget 2026?
Uh, I would say large consequential policy steps are being taken outside the budget anyway. For example, the GST reform, which was
Right.
such a massive reform, which just changed the trajectory of India car market growth from minus to plus, from and plus double digits. Uh, other initiatives or other actions like the rare earth scheme, where the government has been extremely agile and responded to they turned an adversity into an opportunity. So in any case, the government is quite agile all the time, and with manufacturing as the key focus. So the continuity of all such focus towards manufacturing and ease of doing business, that helps a lot. I would say the maximum reforms are required in the state governments and in environment uh, issues
Right.
in related to ease of doing business. That would actually spur much more than what possibly the budget can do.
All right, Mr. Rahul Bharti, Senior Executive Officer, Maruti Suzuki. Thank you so much for joining us.